The COVID-19 pandemic brought about a paradigm shift in travel preferences, with many individuals discovering the advantages of private aviation for both business and leisure journeys. Welcome to BizJet TV. My name is Fabrizio. Today we're going to go into a new report which tells us some interesting information about private jet travel, and interestingly enough, it's data that backs up what I have said in my book, The Quantum Economy. So it really does look like I got my predictions right. So you need to get yourself a copy of the book. You can click on the link below. There's lots of information in here about business, about how to take your business to the quantum level, and private jet is the key tool to taking your business from growing, in a linear fashion into a quantum or fashion. So it's really, really important. So interesting enough, in my book, I talk about Vietnam and why Vietnam is a destination where you need to be going to doing business. And there's a lot of that out recently. In fact, in my newsletter, which I do every couple of weeks, I talked about Vietnam recently. So you can click in the link below to subscribe to the newsletter as well. But we also talk about, after the pandemic, there's going to be an increase in private jet travel, and these people are going to stick to it. But let's look at the market, and we'll split the market into three. We'll start with high net worth individuals, which are people that are worth between $1 to $5 million, and there's 30.1 million of these people in the world. We then move on to the very high net worth individuals, which are people which are worth between $5 and $30 million. There's just over 295,000 of those. Then we go into the ultra high net worth individuals, which are worth over $30 million, and there's 579,000 of those. If we want to go even further and look at the number of billionaires, there's just over 3,200 billionaires in the world. How many private jets are there? Just over 22,000. So not that many if we consider this whole market. Now, there aren't that many high net worth individuals that fly private. They may, charter the odd flight here and there. Most of the market starts with the very high net worth individuals and obviously the ultra high net worth individuals. But even if we look at the 579,000 ultra high net worth individuals, and we look at, just 23,000 private jets, there aren't many of them that actually do own an aeroplane. So that's an interesting number there. So let's see what this report says. It's just been published by the PJCC, which is Private Jet Card Comparison. They do a lot of research on this. Doug Gullum is the guy that heads that operation, and they compiled this 318-page report. And the way they did it is they went out and interviewed 1,000 people that are flying by private jet. They asked them a series of questions, and as a result of that, they discovered that 54.9% of these newcomers to private aviation have decided to fly private, not just for business, but also for leisure. So while I always say, and I say this in my book, The Quantum Economy, when I say, the private jet is not a luxury item, it is a business tool. A lot of these people, have been flying for business, and they say, you know what, I need to go to visit Cap Cana over in the Dominican Republic with my family for 2 weeks. We're going to fly private. We're not going to go with the airlines because, I've been flying private round for business the last few weeks. It's really comfortable. We don't have the hassle of going through the terminals and delays and losing bags and things like that. We just drive our car up to the airplane, get in it, carry as much stuff we want, and off we go. So this is an interesting thing. So when they interviewed these people, they also discovered that 95% of them, of these new people in private aviation, are going to stick to flying private. They're not going away. Now, that's a very, very high number, 95%. What a lot of people said is they said, well, yeah, these people are just going to fly private during the pandemic and maybe just after. And then because of the cost, they're going to revert back to flying commercial. But that's not happening. These people are sticking to private. But, at the end of the day, when we look at the number of the wealthy people in the world, and the number of private jets, you can see how that number is going to increase. And that's why someone like Warren Buffett, who owns NetJets and many other companies, decided to increase his fleet by 30%. FlexJet are doing the same. So they kind of could see this coming. And so they went back to the manufacturers and said, hey, guys, we want more airplanes. And they got a good deal. So this is a really, really interesting number. Another thing that comes out of this Jet Card report shows that 33.5% of flyers are flying more privately than before the pandemic. That's another interesting thing. People thought, yes, there'll be an increase during the pandemic, but then that will go down to the same number of people that were flying before the pandemic. No, there's been an increase, 33.5%. Private jet travel is on the increase. Just interrupting the video very briefly, because here on BizJet TV we're giving out lots of free general information about private jets and the private jet world. But if you are really contemplating buying a private jet, let's help you to make that decision in the best informed way by getting very specific to your case. And to do that, just ping me an email and we will schedule you in for a one-to-one call and help come up with the right strategy so that you, your team, your family can start joining that quantum economy. So ping me an email, let's get on a call. Let's get back to the video, off we go. And it says here that 26.6% plan to fly at least 75 hours a year. Coming from next year, so starting from next year. So that's an interesting figure as well. People are not only flying private more, they're also upping the number of hours they're flying per year, which is interesting. I guess people want to get away, they want to go to Hawaii, they want to go to the Seychelles, and they want to travel with a private jet with their family. It's just safer, everybody's there, no one gets their bags lost or anything like that, and there's no delays. So this is kind of very interesting to see that this thing is happening, confirmed by the data by the PJCC, which do a really good job in researching the market. Yeah, this 318-page report is certainly worth a read if that's something you really want to sort of know about. But we're just giving you a few salient points here of data just to back up the fact that, you know, private jet travel is here to stay and it's on the increase. And that's really interesting. We've also said here on BizJet TV before about the increasing trend of people learning to fly and buying their own airplanes, starting with maybe a Cirrus SR-22 and then moving up from that onto maybe a Vision Jet or a Citation M2 or a Honda Jet, maybe in between getting themselves a TBM or a PC-12. This is the kind of thing that's happening right now, more, especially in the United States, more and more people learning to fly. But, you know, private travel is here to stay. It's on the increase. Very interesting to see it backed up by data. Get yourself a copy of The Quantum Economy. Click in the link below to get that. Let's hear from you. What do you think? You experienced private jet travel? Have you started to travel private now as a result of the pandemic? You've been introduced to this mode of transportation and you really like it? Give us some examples. Let's get the conversation going. I hope you enjoyed this episode of BizJet TV. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel, and also check out this other video we did recently about a Honda Jet crash and how the owner survived and his story on how he's using the Honda Jet also to build his business. And that's all from Fabrizio here on BizJet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.